what's up? This is Erika with Her Digital Empire, episode 3. And before I get started, do not forget to subscribe on, iTunes. What else are we on?
Podcast app, SoundCloud.
There we go. Also with me today is Jesse, my husband, Jesse Belvin.
Yeah, husband and producer.
This may be her digital empire, but he does do and help me a lot with a lot of stuff. So I always like to bring him on here. But yeah, so today I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about something that is super controversial. I get asked about too, but I kind of like to avoid it just because of the controversy that is surrounded by it. And, it's something that really people have different opinions on. But today I wanted to give my opinion on it, and I wanted to give kind of a little game plan if you're dealing with something very similar. So the thing that I wanted to talk about today was copycats. So there are many levels of copycats, whether it's somebody who is stealing your products and your work, or it's somebody who is copying your sales tactics, or, it could be even as simple as somebody really trying to take you down with, let's say they're trying to say that you are the copycat with copyright infringement notices and things like that, what to do in that case. So I kind of wanted to talk about that for a little bit, and as well as we'll talk a little bit about, the graphic design business and stuff, because I know I have a lot of different listeners as well. So I do want to kind of keep this a little generic, not just focus on graphic design, but, we'll touch on that as well. So, really the first thing I think about when I think about all these things is the immediate, anxiety that comes with it. Sure. Right. So, I'm just thinking about for me in the past, whenever I've kind of dealt with any of these situations, it's a very overwhelming, stressful feeling. Like, oh my gosh, like somebody, it's almost like the same feeling as, I don't know if you've ever had like your car broken into or something, but it's that kind of like feeling like somebody is, stepping into your bubble and really trying to mess with your juju, right? And it can really throw you off. And that's really the scariest part, is that it can throw you off of, let's say you're in momentum. It can completely throw you off of momentum. And then you have to sit there and you have to focus, right? So like one of the things that's been happening to me recently actually is I've been finding a lot of my designs up on certain websites, other websites, whether it be like AliExpress or Fiverr or, even other designers on Etsy copying similar work. It's something which there's a difference of the two, right? So we'll go into the differences of creating something that's similar versus actually taking your pictures and and trying to
smudging
sell
out
it.
The logo.
Both are very stressful, on their own levels. But, it's something that I think, in my opinion, is something that all businesses have to deal with.
Yeah. Good ones.
Right. On Etsy, I know a lot of groups, one of the biggest things that people talk about is copyright infringement, because even companies as big as Versace and Gucci and, I was reading one this morning on, what is it called? Velcro. Did you know Velcro is copyright? Like, you cannot say Velcro.
Really?
In anything. It's owned and you can't say it.
The material?
Yeah, Velcro.
That's weird.
You have to like say another way to say it. It's like, how stressful.
Sticky that goes.
I know. The word bride is copyrighted. You can't put the word bride on things. That person who owns that copyright could take you down for that.
Wow.
So there's a lot of tricky things, and I'm not even saying that the people who are doing these things, definitely the people on AliExpress, I hate those people. They're definitely doing it on purpose. But other than that, a lot of times people just don't even know. They're just jumping into business and they don't know what they're doing, and they make that mistake, right? I know a lot of it has to do with, even you're just on the hustle. You just want to make that extra, or that first $100 in your business, and you're willing to do whatever it takes. Maybe you don't read all the copyright. This tends to happen, and it's totally understandable. I've understood it because I have, even before I've even gotten caught, been like, oh my gosh, earlier in my business, definitely early in my business, I remember using stock models that I thought I was totally okay with using because I purchased the stock models.
Right.
Little did I know, I actually wasn't allowed to resell those stock models in my work. I would have had to buy a separate license for that. So I had to learn how to do all that properly.
But you didn't. That wasn't even something where you got in trouble. You just saw the
Never
licensing.
got in trouble. I actually, I just educated myself and then switched out for 100% free stock models for selling and stuff. And some of them I've actually, purchased the enhanced licenses for. So, it's just something, it takes a learning curve when it comes to that kind of thing on being the person on the other end, right? Versus the person has their stuff being stolen from. So whether you're the person stealing or the person, that's being stolen from, it's I say the first thing, beside getting the anxiety and stuff, which is always going to happen in the first couple times it happens, right? But I think the most important thing is to get into kind of like a game plan mode where you don't want it to bother you. Obviously, you're going to let it bother you. I always say take 5 minutes and just scream and cry and do whatever you want. Let it, have a drink.
Yell at your husband.
have a glass of wine. Whatever the heck you need to get through it.
Erika, it's 8 a.m.
Okay, a shot. and have your time, and then once you're done with that, move forward and figure out what the heck you're going to do to move past the situation, and it may not be just one step, it may be 10 steps. I know for the AliExpress, that's actually several steps that we're having to take care of and we have on our list. But when it comes down to it, for those who are stealing or not knowing you're stealing, you just want to make sure that you're reading all your all the licensing of anything that you buy online, as well as that's speaking graphically, right? Because I'm not sure about products. Products are different, obviously, but I guess products aren't different, right? So let's say you buy a shirt and you want to put the words Gucci on it, right? Not cool, right? So,
well, it might be cool, but you get in trouble.
Well, there's a lot of people who do this, and it's the same thing. So, basically, be original, right? Find something original, and I'm not saying that you have to all of a sudden come up with a brand new concept, but definitely, you can find a concept that's already working and then make it better or make it work for you. That being said, I know a lot of people do this and it can be mistaken for stealing, right? So that kind of gets me into the whole, not necessarily copying and using copyright infringement, but creating something that's very similar to yours and then, making your own, which is also very annoying, but it's one of those things where it's the game is the game.
Sure.
And definitely another thing I've had a glass of wine for, and then move forward. And for you, everybody's business is going to be different. Your resolution for that, your results to get you past that is going to be different from company to company. So for my company, for instance, my resolution for that is don't even focus on it and build volume to the point that I don't have to worry about that kind of thing.
Sure.
Right? So, a great example I always like to compare is Walmart. So a lot of people hate Walmart because Walmart crushes the small businesses, right? With no matter what they put out. Amazon is another great example of this. They like to crush small businesses. So Amazon and Walmart are not really focused on who is copying all the products they have because they have so many products that it just doesn't matter, right? So that's kind of the idea that I have toward and how I kind of like to run my business is I just don't focus on the stuff that's going to get, going to bring me down. Now, have I had my rainy days? Of course, I'm not perfect. There's times where I've gotten really frustrated by it because somebody wants to put out 50 of the same item of mine. That's okay though, because what it tells me is that that item for me must be doing really well or is very popular. And what do I have to do? I focus and I focus and I focus, right? Because I understand that if you're the first person to come out with something that does really well, what's going to happen? You're going to have 100 copycats after that,
Sure.
right? Because it's working. A really great example of this is I think it's called the socket or something, pop lock, the thing that goes on the back of cell phones that people hold. So that thing is actually copyrighted. You cannot, and it's owned, trademarked. You cannot make another one of those things and call it that thing. And they actually own the whole aspect of it. They own.
Really?
So copycatters, I've been seeing this a lot on Etsy and stuff, have been, because China will make a ton of these things, right? And they'll just sell them for whatever. Little do the people know who are buying these things that you can't actually sell these.
Oh wow!
Because it's patented, so you cannot resell this. So you will get taken out, and they're serious about that. They will take you down, whatever it takes. I have seen this so many times. Right now, it's all over eBay and Etsy and all over stuff, but. That being said, if you have something that's not patentable, if you have something that's not really copyrightable, 100% original, it's just important to really, the overall message here is to keep it moving. There's going to get a point where it could be overwhelming. Obviously, I've even been overwhelmed by it. But the important thing is, like I said, to keep it moving. And then another thing that you can do as well, to really create some kind of really some security to something is diversify. Sure. Right?
Oh yeah, 2020.
So I always think it's really not smart to put all your eggs in one basket. If you have one business, I think you should have 3 businesses. Work on 3 different ideas, something like that, because you don't want something like that to really be the thing that takes you down, right? Because there's going to get to a point, if it's not already, where your business pays your bills. And, if that's all you have and that's what's putting the food in your kids' mouths, and you're stressed out because, let's say, you're Coffee Bean and Starbucks is over there matching your prices and people have lines at the door, that's not going to work for you, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you could have 4 businesses that make you $2,500 a month each, or one business that makes you 10 grand a month, by itself, to me, it's smarter to have 4 businesses that make 2,500, because if anything happens, if somebody copies your style, copies your business, scams you, whatever, we're only talking about one business of $2,500. So if let's say you had to give up that business, or something terrible happened and you had to give up that business, you're only dropping 1/4 of your income rather than 100% of one income.
Right. And that's what I'm saying is focus on diversifying, focus on investing in several businesses versus one, because you don't ever know,
Sure.
What's going to happen. Things change, especially when let's say you're on a website like Etsy, or you're on another website that is doing really well, but you don't own that website, right? This was a big thing in MLM for us, was that we were taught that we were in our own business and we were working for ourselves, but at any point that CEO could have turned off our paychecks, which even happened to us when we were pretty big in one company, and because we chose to leave another company, we got our everything turned off that moment. And that's a serious thing. That's how serious it is when you're working on a website, let's say it's Etsy or eBay or Fiverr or any of these websites where people work on them, and they have a store on them. Well, you don't own that store that's sitting on that website. You don't own that thing, right? So it's really important to diversify, even if it is just making another Shopify website or a WordPress website that has all your products on it. It's very important to really build that solid foundation, so you're not so stressed out about when's it going to happen to me or whatever. And obviously keep yourself as clear as possible of licensing issues and stuff, but you just never know
Sure.
with the changes that companies like that can make, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's here's the bottom line, in my opinion, is that just the amount of stress that you can save yourself from having if you're diversified is so important when you run into this, because there's, other than legality wise, there's nothing really more frustrating or irritating, especially in the design world, that I've seen is when somebody is copying your stuff. Obviously, there's legalities and stuff that you can protect yourself and go after people with, if they're big enough, if it's something you really want to go handle. But I just think from a stress standpoint, and that's how I handle most of my stuff, is just like saying like, what's going to stress me out more, what's going to stress me out less. That's how I handle it. And I think that if you're diversified, if you've got a couple different projects going on, and something like this happens, it's not as much of a big deal as if you just have all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. And that's really what our focus is diversification and owning multiple businesses that are doing well. And so, obviously then you run into more issues like scheduling and things like that to make sure that all of those, eggs that are in different baskets are doing well. But, that's really, I think, the best way to combat this type of issue, because I just don't think those people are going away. I don't think the people that are going to copy your work or your products or your business model, I don't think they're going away, because the people who are always at the top are always the people who people are trying to climb to try and become and take down, right? It never ends. I feel like there's like a song lyric or something that goes with that.
Right. It's funny.
Was it like Jay-Z or something? I don't know.
I think we've talked about this, maybe even on this podcast before, but I'm going to still say it again. Amazon, right? They will literally let companies with new products sell their products on there. They have an entire department looking for hot products that sell on Amazon, and then they go and make a similar one and sell it as Amazon and then crush you. It's literally been one of their models. This is how they operate.
Right.
They see what's hot. You
Great
make the
example.
mistake about showing them what's hot on their platform, and then they crush you.
Great example.
It's just the way things are. But having a thick skin, having some spine and an unwavering work ethic, that's what you've got to do. It's how you've got to operate.
Yeah, no, I'm with it. I mean, again, we're kind of talking as if this is like just one of the problems that comes in business, which is totally the case. I was just on another group and I was watching, I love getting into these conversations, where people are complaining about some detrimental issue or that they think is in their business. And there was this girl, she was clearing I don't know, I think it was like $30,000 a month on Etsy. And she was super stressed out by, Etsy has gotten a lot more serious about compliance and ratings and things like that. And she was just saying how, she just feels hopeless and she feels defeated and doesn't know how she's going to continue on. And, I noticed a lot of people on there were saying, how could you possibly feel hopeless making that much money per month, right? And really what I noticed from this is there's a mindset there that is really keeping her from moving forward to $50,000 a month or whatever, because of this fear, right? This new fear that she's created in her head. Rather than problem solving and trying to figure out a new solution or changing her own company policies. Right. Why not change your own company policies a little bit to alleviate some stress, so that you can focus on the positive things and growing your business? But instead, she's so focused on staying in the same place, stressing out, feeling defeated, all the negative emotions that, because you're running your business, you are your business, that's just, it's going to make you fail. And really, I think that, being in business now for a while, I've noticed that even I've been able to push some people out of the game. That's something that I have no problem doing, because I have a really strong mindset. It takes a lot to tear me down. It's just not going to happen. One of the things that I think that is, one of my strengths, but also one of my weaknesses, is that I don't know how to give up. So I can cry and I can whine all I want about, the copycats and the people who are doing this and that to me, or who are cutting their pricing, but, creating my work, the same work as me, but then cutting their pricing. And I'm crying about that, right? It doesn't matter to me because it's not going to cut me out. It's not going to bring me out of the game. And the thing is when it comes to this type of business, and really all businesses, the only thing that is going to keep you from winning is quitting. Now, granted, obviously, there's just some time where sometimes it's good to just close doors if it's not been working for a while. We've all learned that from Mr. Wonderful in Shark Tank, right? I am a very good believer of that. If something is not working, I will move to the next thing. But something that has been succeeding, I will not let that thing that pushes me out be a competitor ever. I will never let it be somebody who wants to copy my work and or copy my listings and my products and push it out there as their own. That will never be the thing that pushes me out. Etsy, the business, the company Etsy will never be the thing that pushes me out. These are small potatoes in the big spectrum. Something that would push you out of a business or make you say, I quit, it's not for me, would be something like the actual idea, the concept does not work. It does not sell. You've only sold 25 units in 6 years and you can't figure it out. Move on to the next freaking product, right? That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about going on and quitting. That's what Mr. Wonderful means when he is talking about, sometimes it's just time to put in, to stick it in the coffin and bury it, right, and don't ever look at it again, right? So this is not something that, these reasons should never be something that pushes you out of the game,
sure,
in my opinion.
I agree.
Right? I know a lot of my listeners are hair extension owners. If Snob Life, right? If Snob Mob and Snob Life and that company, with all of the people who have now renamed themselves Snob, or have taken her colors, or have copied her website, if she decided to write down a list of all those people, it would be the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life, because this is just like such a big industry now. But she chooses not to. She doesn't even know they exist, because that's not what she's focusing on. Her only competitor to her is the people who probably are around her making around the same amount as her, or maybe somebody above her who's doing better than her, and then her. She is her only competitor.
Yeah, you kind of hit it right on the head. If you're in first place, right,
Yes.
the obvious disadvantage is there, right? If you're in second, you can see what's working, see what's not working from somebody else that succeeded.
Yeah.
That's just entrepreneurship in general, and you can kind of duplicate what they're doing, okay? But if you're in first place for a reason. Like for us, we're thinking like, 3-4 years down the line already. So the people that are, let's say, copying, they're always going to have to be behind copying, because they're copying the model that's working. We know the model that's working. We know the models that will be working, and we have this whole map. This isn't checkers. This is chess.
Yes.
And that's just entrepreneurship, design, business owning. That's all of it in general. And so there's good and bad. The obvious good, like we said, for being in second place, you can copy what's working for first place. It irritates first place, blah blah blah. But being in first place, you know where you're going. If you're not giving in and being weak, you know where you're going. You're looking down the road, and so there's this sense of, yeah, I guess go ahead, you can keep
cutting your pricing all you want.
Yeah. So, anyways, we see you.
But I still know I'm making more money. Even with less sales, I'm making more money.
Anyways.
But anyway, so just to, really push this out there. It doesn't matter who's copying you, your pricing, your products, your company, whatever, right? When you're ready, and you can obviously push out those copyright infringement notices, obviously get your stuff trademarked and do those things that you need to do.
Totally.
We are at that stage in our business where we're ready to go ham with that stuff, which is really going to get heavy into the new year. I've got all my stuff figured out for that. But when it comes down to it, the most important thing is you and your attitude, and do not let these types of people and companies affect you. And always push forward. And honestly, something that I've worked on this year is, it's so easy to assume that the person who is doing this thing to you and causing this anxiety has these bad intentions towards you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easy to like blow up on them. Talk
Super
crap
easy.
to them, blast them online. It's so easy to do this kind of stuff. And something that I have learned is that, everybody has a different story. A lot of people, like I said earlier, they just don't know what they don't know. They don't know what they're doing. They've made this mistake, but they haven't been caught yet, and they didn't even know that they could. Like I said before, I didn't even know that I couldn't use, the images that I purchased, the way that I was trying to use them, until I looked deep into like little writing that was like deep in the website that I'd gotten them from. And that was when I made my correction. And it's like, sometimes it is an honest mistake, and that is totally okay. And the biggest thing here is, don't let like the idea that that person is trying to tear you down or take you down, cause extra anxiety that you don't need. It's okay to think that that person does have good intentions, and that they don't need to be torn apart, and they honestly are just at a different stage of their business than you are. So that will help you and them, and it could end up turning into something very positive. Okay, I can't tell you how many people I've gotten even into my membership because they've copied something, and I've said, listen, it's not even worth it, like, just learn how to make it yourself. I teach how to make this. For $20 a month, I teach how to make this. You don't even need to steal, right? So, that being said, I really just wanted to close out with that, because there are good people in this world. I believe there's more good people than bad people, who are just trying to make a buck or whatever.
Sure.
And so that's my opinion of it. But yeah, other than that, I really just wanted to close this out. I know we kind of went all over the place this time, but I just wanted to talk about, just a few things that I think that really can affect your business heavily. And even if it doesn't affect your business right away, it's affecting you and affecting your mindset, which, can then in turn affect your business altogether. So it is important, right? So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close this out.
Yeah.
Definitely do not forget to hit subscribe to this so you can get all of our updates, and join our email list too, over our website. Actually, herdigitalemempire.com is where you can actually join it currently. And just get all of our updates when we have a new anything coming out, really. But yeah, other than that, I will go ahead and close this out. So have a great day.